And now for that exclusive news break, it's a major setback for Kargil Martyr, Captain Saurabh Kalia's family's fight for justice. The Modi government has refused to approach the International Court of Justice against Pakistan in the gruesome killing of Saurabh Kalia by the Pakistani forces during the Kargil war. In its reply in Parliament to a question by Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament Rajiv Chandrasekhar, the Modi government has said that moving the International Court of Justice against Pakistan will not be practical. Remember, when BJP was in opposition, and that's the real story. When they were in opposition, the party had slammed the UPA government over its refusal to approach the International Court. But now the NDA government has toed this very same UPA line on this particular issue. Shocked over the response of the government, Martyr Saurabh Kalia's family has said that they were not expecting this from the new government. Captain Kalia, remember, was captured by Pakistani troops during the Kargil war and was held in captivity and tortured gruesomely. Last year, a video had gone viral in which a Pakistani soldier had admitted that Captain Saurabh Kalia was tortured and killed during the Kargil war in 1999. Let's quickly go across to Strategic Affairs Editor of India Today, Gaurav Sawant, who joins us on the phone line. But Gaurav, before I come to you, I am joined in by Mr. M.K. Kalia on the phone line. Sir, thanks very much for speaking to India Today. How would you look at this particular response from this government? Your reaction, sir?
Actually, Indian government policy towards Pakistan has never been clear. Sometimes we to fight with Pakistan. Sometimes we play cricket with Pakistan. We invite their artists. But it's all confused.
Mr. Kalia, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Kalia, my question to you is that when the BJP was in opposition, when this entire matter had come up, the BJP took a very strong position saying that, the martyr's family must be given justice. This is a fit case for, for the International Court of Justice being approached. Your family lawyer, Arvind Kumar Sharma, has also said this on many occasions. But now it seems that the official position of the government has become the country's official position, which means that an International Court of Justice cannot be approached unless the other country agrees. Then why all this, muscular rhetoric in the past?
Actually, whether it is BJP or it is Congress government, they have the same position. They may be vocal outside. They may be vocal to media, or they may be vocal to some functions. But heart of hearts, they are the same.
Sir, do you feel that this government has failed you? It has failed Captain Kalia?
Of course.
You feel a little let down. Would you want to approach the government again to perhaps reconsider its position? Because as of now, they have only said this in Parliament right now to a question that was asked.
In fact, the Honorable Apex Court of India has also directed our cases also lying pending in the Apex Court. There's a panel of judges has also advised government to take up this issue at the international level.
So are you hoping, Mr. Kalia, that I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, 25th August is the next date of hearing in the Supreme Court, is it?
Of course, but about this, our learned counsel, Mr. Arvind Sharma, can elaborate better. That I am ever hopeful. So long I am alive, I will continue.
Are you hopeful? Are you hopeful that somehow the government is going to change its stand, perhaps by the 25th of August, when this matter actually comes up, where the government is obliged to answer to the Supreme Court what its stand actually is going to be? Are you hopeful that the government will perhaps change its stand?
I was ever hopeful. I am optimist by nature, And I have full faith in the apex court that it will do the justice to us. But I don't have any faith in the BJP government or in the UPA government.
All right, Mr. Kalia, many thanks for joining us at this moment. Let's hope that the promises that were made to Captain Saurabh Kalia and also to your family by the BJP when they were in opposition is something that they uphold even now. Otherwise, it might be seen as Mr. Kalia says, perhaps the muscular rhetoric that in this particular case could have fallen flat. Let me quickly go across to Gaurav. Gaurav, if you're still with us, what really is India's official position as far as referring matters to the International Court of Justice is concerned?
Sanket, as you rightly pointed out, when the BJP was in opposition, it indulged in rhetorical politics. This is rhetoric that they should be raised in International Court of Justice because it is India's stand that any issue related to Jammu and Kashmir is bilateral and will not be raised at any third fora. So there is no question of raising Lieutenant Saurabh Kalia's case at the International Court of Justice, or for that matter, any issue relating to Jammu and Kashmir. India never raises it at either the UN or the International Court of Justice. All issues between India and Pakistan are bilateral, to be addressed bilaterally. At the same time, it is the failure of both the UPA and the NDA to address it bilaterally. This may be a political issue. Unfortunately, it has never been addressed in the right earnest diplomatically. India, as Saurabh Kalia's father rightly pointed out, has a very jellied Pakistan policy. You know, we don't have a strong Pakistan policy. We yo-yo between various stands, and that is why perhaps Pakistan takes India for granted.
Absolutely, Gaurav. Thanks for joining us at this moment. You can see that these pictures that we are putting out right now is Mr. Kalia, the father of Captain Saurabh Kalia, who's saying that he's going to fight till the very end for justice. This was a promise that was made when this particular party, which is incumbent right now, was in opposition. Why have they forgotten their promise? Let me go across to defense expert Mr. Sushant Sareen at this moment. Mr. Sareen, how do you look at this? Perhaps a case of the government promising a bit too much, something that they, cannot agree upon, because this will be seen in violation of our own country's position as far as Kashmir is concerned.
I don't think the government has promised anything. I think it was a kind of a promise from the political party which is now leading the government, and
yes,
you need to distinguish between the two. Now, that political party could have been doing political grandstanding when it made that promise, or that promise could have come out of sheer ignorance of what the policy of the government of India is. I will just correct what Gaurav was saying. It is not just about Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, our position on the International Court of Justice has been that any matter related to Commonwealth countries, so we don't single out only Jammu and Kashmir, so any matter between Commonwealth countries, we do not admit in the International Court of Justice. That is one. Now, I'm not, and as far as the International Criminal Court is concerned, we again do not, the other side has to agree to becoming party to that dispute, and in many of the areas we do not even accept its jurisdiction. So now it is one thing for some individual to go and file a case out there, but the government of India cannot become party to it and should not become party to it. There are, if at all, justice has to be got, and it should be got for Lieutenant Kalia, then I'm sure there are other means of doing it. Just parroting International Court of Justice or International Criminal Court is probably not the right way.
No, Mr. Sareen, the story is very simple, and I request if you could perhaps, as you must have already seen also, this edition of Mail Today, it is not about India's official position. It's about a promise that was made, perhaps keeping political concerns in mind, and now that that party has become incumbent, completely forgetting or throwing the rule book. Where was this rule book at that time?
No. Like I said, while you are in opposition, you have answers to all the questions. It's only when you come into government you know that some questions have no answers.
Absolutely.
One. The second thing is, many of these promises and many of the times, most of our politicians say things out of sheer ignorance. They're simply not aware of what the position is. So, that's, I suppose that's the nature of the beast, and that's what politicians do. But that political grandstanding has been done by all sorts of people in all sorts of places. And I don't think this ruling party is any different from the parties which preceded it. So, leave the politics of it aside. It's when you come into government, you realize that, a lot of the stuff which you were talking about cannot be done. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Then why, and perhaps it almost appears that in that grandstanding, the one thing that politicians perhaps do not realize is that a lot of hopes have been pinned, and that those hopes will come crashing down. That's really the story at this moment. It's in this edition, this morning's edition of Mail Today, which I'm holding in my hand right now, how the Modi Sarkar has shut its door on a Kargil martyr. That's the story that we are getting at this moment. Let's also see how the positions have actually now become similar. A unique case where the NDA and the UPA are perhaps, saying the exact same thing. Let's just look at this presentation that we have actually prepared on what this particular stand is. Remember, the NDA, when it was in opposition, said that we'll do all that we can to take this matter to the International Court of Justice. NDA towing the UPA government stand. They say, and I quote, "A decision to approach the ICJ on any issue is a decision which falls within the mandate of the government. The jurisdiction cannot be invoked unilaterally as it has effect on foreign relations." Now that was the UPA's position. Look at the NDA's position now that it has come to power. This says, "It is highly unlikely that Pakistan will consent to India's proposals to submit the case to the ICJ by special agreement. A state cannot be compelled without its consent." So this is very different from what the NDA actually said when they were in opposition. Now, obviously, the two positions they have now become the government's official position. So there is consistency there, but inconsistency as far as the NDA's position when it was in opposition and now when it is in power is concerned. Let's go across to Harish V. Nair, who's actually got us this particular story. Harish, apart from, the most shocking part here very much is a case of a false promise that was made.
Yes.
Now, Harish, if you could just elaborate about this particular matter actually being in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has asked the government to make its stand clear by the 25th of August. Okay, we'll try going back to Harish in just a short moment from now, but Gaurav is still with us. Gaurav, the father of Captain Kalia actually says, and that is the most important, he's still living in hope. He says that he actually expects that the government will in fact change its position by the 25th of August. But many defense analysts feel that that cannot be because it goes against India's official position as far as these matters are concerned of raising these matters to the International Court of Justice. Remember, just a reminder, we are running that on our screens. What exactly is this story all about? Who was Captain Kalia? In fact, Captain Kalia of the 4th Jat Regiment was captured by Pakistani troops along with 5 other Indian soldiers on 15th of May 1999. He was held in captivity and tortured gruesomely, but the soldier did not betray his motherland. In fact, they sent him back to India with eardrums pierced, with hot rods, eyes punctured, and removed, most of his teeth and bones broken, and limbs chopped off. That's the torture that we are actually talking about. Harish V. Nair is now on the phone line with us. Harish, it's really a story, whatever you get. It's not about India's official position. Nobody is arguing that. But it's really about a false promise that was actually given to, the family members.
Yeah.
Harish, can you take us through what really, we spoke to the father of Captain Kalia, and he said that on the 25th of August, this matter actually comes up in the Supreme Court. What he says that he's really hopeful that there will be a turnaround in the government's position. Can you take us through what really legally has this battle been for Captain Kalia's parents?
Saurabh Kalia's father had moved the Supreme Court 3 years ago. He wanted this matter to be taken up. He wanted a direction from the court to the center to take up the matter with in the International Court of Justice.
Yes, Harish, please go on.
Yeah. But the UPA government was not helpful. They said they cannot afford to antagonize Pakistan. They also said that it might have its effect on the bilateral relations, and Pakistan cannot be compelled to come before the ICJ. That was the ground taken by the MEA, UPA's MEA ministry.
What was the promise made by the BJP then as opposed to their position now, Harish?
Yeah, his father had approached VK Singh. Actually, BJP government had earlier promised that they might take up this after they come to power. They said everything will be done, and now it has not been done. And what Mr. Kalia is saying is that he thought BJP government is more patriotic and they will do everything for his son. Okay,
Harish, appreciate you joining us at this moment and explaining in greater detail the story that you have actually got us. Now, of course, the family now is very, very emotional at this moment, saying that perhaps they thought that the BJP is going to be a little bit more patriotic as far as these things are concerned, but it's the official position of the Indian government which they have reiterated at this moment. Was the promise made, was that false, or is the delivery not happening for some reason which perhaps we don't know? Perhaps that is the official position and the promise should never have been made.